Okay, so what are we going to do today? So today we are gonna perform some cleanup over the code base. We did some work last time. We made our examples work. And right now the thing is that our example works, but the code is pretty awful because as you can see in here, let's go for example into the example manager. Yeah, you can see that we have all of these things that are not so great. And even in the connect side, we have some inline provides, and maybe we want to clean those up. And so today we will work towards cleaning up some code. And let's see, where can we start? Maybe let's have a look at the list of issues that were opened on the FXTS cluster. FXTS cluster repositories. Okay, so here we have the list of issues we need to tackle. And let's see what we can tackle. We have consider renaming, user prototype, refactor, fixed tag values. And this is the one that we are all working on. And maybe what we can tackle is, for example, this one. Maybe this can be fixed tag values. Yeah, we can start by looking at all the tag values and see if they are correctly written and exposed. Okay, so let's start by looking at our tag and see whenever we use this. And okay, so all of those declarations are fine because they are just re-exports, re-export, re-export, that's fine. And then we have another one, generic tag, at least once, symbol key. Okay, this is one is already okay. We need to make all of those work exactly like this one. And that's fine. Symbol key. Okay, this one instead is wrong. Because instead of this, we want now to use pods symbol key. And save. And pod else symbol key, that's perfect. This one uses the symbol, generic tag. Oh, this one isn't. So this one should use instead something like sharding. Sharding dot. Do we have a symbol key? No. So we can create one. Something like this. I'm going to sharding. Sharding. And this is sharding symbol key. And sharding symbol key as sharding dot sharding symbol sharding type ID. And this is sharding type ID. And we export this one as sharding type ID. And here we use instead sharding symbol key. Okay, now we need to update the sharding type in here, in this module, in here. Okay, we need now to export in the same way we do imports here. Type ID, we need to export sharding type ID internal dot sharding type ID. Sharding type ID. This is just a re-export, and maybe while we are at it, we can do something like, say, read only sharding type ID should have the value of sharding type ID. Right? Oh, right. Here we exported the value, but we need also to export the type as well. So here's the value, and here we have the type, which goes sharding type ID, sharding type ID. Okay, now we are fine. And we want this to be exported, so that's fine. Maybe we should move this one in here, move the internal ones just at the end. In here, yeah. So you will know that these methods are internal and they should not be exported. And here, okay. Okay. And we should be fine with that. So going back to our research, now this is fixed. This one is already fixed. This one is not fixed, but luckily for us, shard manager symbol key, an easily fixed one. So as you can see, this is just some boring bookkeeping, but you know, not every day can be a happy day. Sometimes you have things to do. This is sample service. This is an example test, so I am fine with that. And this activity context, okay, this one needs to be changed as well. So we can do something like export const, or maybe not exported, just declared const activity context symbol key equals effect cluster workflow activity context, and this should be marked as internal. Okay. And then we also have, since version 0, the category is models, or maybe symbols. And we will also export type activity context type ID. So the users can use that without caring of its actual value, which will be activity this one. Export const, and this is the actual value for the simple, and we will also export the type level, and that will be type of activity context type ID. Okay, perfect. There's one. Maybe we can say unique symbol. Perfect. Okay, this one then can be replaced with activity context symbol key. Okay. And I think that we have also this one. We should have the same treatment as the one we already did. So maybe we can just copy and paste some code in here and do some bookkeeping and say this is not activity context. This is a durable execution journal. So in here, this is the symbol key, and we use that to create the type ID, and that's the type ID. And then we export the type ID also as a type. That's perfect. And okay, let's save. Everything is fine and happy. And now we have to do, oh, we need to fix here with durable execution journal symbol key. Okay. And last but not least, we need to do the same thing with workflow context. So maybe I can copy from activity context, which is more similar. And we go into workflow context and say workflow text. Say workflow context symbol key, workflow context type ID, which comes of workflow text symbol key, workflow context type ID, workflow context type ID. Okay. So ideally, we should have fixed all of our tags. So we can go back and say close issue. Perfect. And here say fixed tagged values. Yes. Next one. What's on the list? Do not recreate test container for each test. This is one I would like to tackle. And also we have mixerized envelope, a message itself. Yeah, this is more difficult. So let's say we'll start with something very simple instead and say, okay, we want to make the tests. In here, if we look at the test, we see that in the cluster PG package, all of those tests uses, if I remember correctly, yeah, test container Postgres layer, and this layer is created and then shut down for each test. And what we would like to do instead is do something like create one before the test starts, and then after all the tests have completed, then we want to shut down. So we could say something like before all, if I remember correctly. So describe it. I don't remember every time. Vitest before all. I don't remember. Let's see. Test API reference. Test. Okay. And I want to say something like before all. Okay. Okay. This is Register callback to be called once before starting or run the correct context. If the function returns as a promise, the test waits until the promise is resolved before running test. Optionally, you can provide a timeout for specifying how long to wait before terminating. Okay. The thing is that how can I pass something that I create in my before all clean up function called follow the test run? Yeah, how can I pass something, some resource to every test? Let's say vi test before all pass value to test. Maybe before all test containers. How to use before? Okay. This is not something related to VTest. So VTest before all test containers and say test container, test environment, reacting testing. No, 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 no. No. VTest before all the source context. Test context. Oh, maybe we can do something very silly that could work. We could say before all, okay, and then say in here something like am I in the wrong file? At least once Postgres. Yeah, I'm in the correct file. I should have in here Postgres test container. Here it is. Okay, so I can say something like before all. Okay, and say sync. We want them to await, and we create a new container. So this is the promise. Okay, so we want to start the Postgres SQL container. Okay, we want to await the container. Okay, so this is now the container. Okay, and then we want to return async something that is like container dot stop, and this should ideally before every test start the container and stop it. Okay, and then we want to have something like let connection URI of type string. We want that to be that, and after we started that, we say connection URI equals container dot get connection URI. Perfect. And then we say that in each test, what we do instead of using these test containers, etc., we get this, which is the actual connection string to our database, and connection is not is assigned but never used. Yeah, correctly. We will now say layer.write layer.write provide pg, right? Pg client dot make connection. No, client. I don't remember how it was called. My memory is getting pg.client.pg client. So layer dot provide pg.client dot layer. Now we can use the layer and say URL, and the URL is the connection URI, right? But secret from string, because we have to create a secret from a string. Okay. And the only thing is that I'm not happy, because the thing is that we set the connection string asynchronously, but this value is constructed synchronously. So he won't be happy about this. So we need to make this lazy. And in order to make this lazy, what we can do is use instead make and say layer.provide layer.scope, exactly as we did here. We pass in the tag, which is pg client.pg client.pg client here, and we pass in the effect, which is this one. Okay, and now we can use this here and here, provide, perfect. And now, in order to make this lazy, what we can do is use something like effect.suspend, and effect.suspend is a quite useful effect operators that, since effect is lazy himself, so effect is a computation that can be retried many times as you want. Effect.lazy, you can provide in some lazy function and will create an effect of an effect. And this allows you to have something like resolving a variable, in my example, in a lazy way. So it will be called in the moment that this effect is evaluated. If I don't put the effect.suspend in here, the problem in here will be that we will resolve the value of connection string too much early, and not what we want. Okay, so let's try to see if that now fixes everything. This is not needed anymore. I see that we have some errors. Let's see. And the problem is that effect requires a PG client, but we should have provided that. Oh, wrong position. We need to provide that here. Yes, now we are fine. Okay, so right now we should be fine, I think. Let's see. Let's try to do something like pnpm build, check first, see if the sources are okay, let it compile, and we have some problems. Perfect. Okay, so we have internal sharding. Oh, it's saying that, right? We updated sharding in here, but now the value we have in here is not assignable to sharding, because we need also to provide shard. sharding type ID, and the value sharding type ID. And this fixes. And let's see if now it compiles. Okay, it type checks. So now we can try to build. Okay, it seems to build. Perfect. And pnpm run test. Let's see if the tests are succeeding. I think that I forgot to attach. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so something is wrong. Could not find. Oh, we need to start Docker. Okay. Now Docker is started. Let's try again. Okay. So the one we have changed is should mark as processed is at least once Postgres. Okay, is that one the one we have changed? Yes. So what's the problem with those tests? Duplicate duplicate key value. Okay, this is expected because we have now updated to use only a single Postgres instance for all the tests. But the thing is that now we need each test to use a different table name. In here, we need to, each test is using the same table name. So we need to change this durable execution journal Postgres in order to accept in here the table name. So what we can do is do something like change this to make execution and say something like we have some options we can pass in. So for example, the table name, which is of type string. Okay. And then we need to change this with a table name. We will create the primary key by appending to the table name, primary key, and perfect. And now also both the append method should accept table name, insert into table name, or nine, select from table name, and we need also to accept as a parameter the table name of type string. Okay, and in here, where execution D. Okay, so right now it should accept table name as a parameter. Table name. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Now, this is not the actual service, but this is now a function, make, and now this accepts the name of the table. So we can move this provide in from here. Oops. We can move it from here into our tests, saying like, for example, this one, if provide, and we can change saying with test creation, and we need to okay with okay, this is okay. So why are you now, oh right, and we need to provide this one before everything because okay, because this, as you can see by the signature, this excludes the PG clients, but it's defined and required here. So we need to move that one. And then we need to do the same thing for all the other tests. So like here, for example, but we need to change the table name. For your example, test store. And then we test read, for example. And this test that record are actually read from the table. And that's it. So right now, let's see. I've seen some errors. Let's say SQL error, syntax error near $1. Let's go back. Go to definition. You have here the table name. Create table does not exist. Table name, constraint table name, append. The first argument is table name, and we read the table name. First argument for append is table name, and here is read table name. Okay. So we need to check which query are you running in order to have this syntax error. Uh, oh, I see. The thing is that um, affect SQL automatically escapes value. So here we need to say that that value should not be escaped. So import everything as SQL from effect SQL. Okay, are you okay? Yeah, I know you're not completely okay with that because I need to add the dependency over SQL. Let's say which version is actually installed. Pnpm lock and say affect SQL and 0.1.16. Okay. So let's go back to the package.json and add our new dependency. Our new dependency here is affect SQL. Okay. Save. We stop the tests. We say pnpm install. Now we will update everything. Let's see. Okay. We have installed everything. We can go back to pnpm run test. And in here, we need now to update our. Okay, now SQL is something defined, and then we can do SQL dot statement. I remember unsafe. Okay, should be this one. That basically tells SQL to do not try to escape the value. We could have also been more, okay, more quick and dirty about that, but yeah. I think it's unsafe fragment, if I remember correctly. But yeah, we can see now some tests as relation execution journal do not exist. Let's say maybe oh, because yeah, we need to say that test creation test creation. Okay, Okay, relation execution does not exist. Okay, and the test that's failing is should store the execution in the table upon append. Should store the execution. Oh, here, yeah, because we are actually reading directly from there. Okay. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, and we should see that when we try to run our tests in here, if we do again all, you should see, yeah, a lot of spinning up. Yeah. Okay. PG type name and sp index. All of those are failing. Let's see why they are failing. They are all trying to create something that's common to everyone. And let's see. Assist. PG type name and SP index. This ideally should use a unique, let's say, statement codification. This one should, yeah, unsafe fragment just, okay, calls in this, okay. Maybe it's not, it's literal, no, unsafe. Yeah, that's it, that should be it. Okay, maybe we can do something like try to execute test with the log level of the bug and see what's trying to run. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? In memory, return stem, log level, debug. Let's see what's the output. Okay. No. SQL duplicate key generates unique constraint gen speed index. Let's see what is about. Not too familiar with. When you create a bit of the same table with parallel processing. I understand because of this, so I think it depends from the skill itself, not having a connection driver model. Oh, oh, so it's something. So it's something actually tied to Postgres. Oh, didn't know about that. Oh, I see. I see. I see. I see. Let's see. Can I get effect? Yes. Effect. Can I get effect to dump all the queries? Let's see. SQL, SRC, maybe SQL PG. SRC, I'd like to have this make and this does everything. I would like to have this client spawn on event on sequence concurrent mode. Oh, hello everyone. On sequence concurrent mode, yeah, I could sequential. Oh, it's right. It's not anymore like that. It should be like here, if I remember correctly. And let's see how the test options are. Go to time definition. Test options. Sequential true. Let's say. Thank you for suggesting that. Yeah, that could be a quick fix for it. Okay. Yeah, now it's more believable. Okay. 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 That fixed it for now. Now we have expected should not mark expected 0 to be 1. Okay. So let's see why. This one is not related to that. So let's see at placements. Yeah. Select from message each. Oh, this is at least one. Yeah. Okay. So this and completely another the same test, but yeah, should. Did I put the before in the wrong file? Look at that. We have the connection URI in here. Okay, I provided in here the connection URI. And then okay, I was drunk apparently. I modified the wrong file because yeah, I need to do this one in here as well. So yeah, let's do that. Let's remove that and then provide. This goes away and I need to do that. I need to remove that. I need to say that this is sequential true. Okay, and now each test should have its layer. Durable execution journal, yeah. Make durable execution journal. And now okay, this is imported. And with test env should do this one as well. Okay, now we should be okay. Because now the function with test env creates the environment for test. Here we are creating all of the tests, test creation, test store, test treat. Okay, so at least durable execution should pass everything. Yeah, as you can see now, durable execution passes all of our tests. That's perfect. Okay, and it takes definitely a lot less than before. And now we need to do the same for at least once. So at least once. So this used before a table name and at least once we go to definition, and now we will do the same thing that we did there in here, make at least once storage. Okay, let's drop off typings and say that I want the user to give me the table name that I want to use, table name, a string, and then I need to import everything as SQL from effect SQL SQL. Okay, and now ideally we could say creatable if not exist SQL dot SQL. Why are not? Oh, because now in this package affect SQL, right? Affect SQL without, okay, SQL dot statement dot unsafe, and want to pass you the table name, and this kind of fragment I need to provide everywhere. Message HK and on conflict here. This is the table name. Update table name. Process red equals true. Select everything from table name. Set process equal false. Okay, and now we should have everything not working. Cannot read properly. Oh, because we updated the definition, but we didn't update the tests. So make at least once Postgres. Yeah, we need to move this one and say for each test now we need to say affect dot provide at least one storage Postgres dot make at least one storage Postgres create test. Okay. Why are you not? Merge. Let's go back and see what we had, because this one relies on serialization. So let's say provide. This provides just sharding, yeah. But then I also need to provide serialization, which is air, yeah. So let's see, maybe I could say something like memory sharing that uses that. I'm not so happy about this because I have this one. This basically creates just a huge layer. And this one can be all moved in here and say something like, okay, effect provide, and this be just a chain of provides. Oops. Okay, this is not needed anymore. And I could say that with test env also passes in a table name string. This is not required anymore. So this way we could say effect.provide, and we can move this one here, for example, and say we pass in the table name And now that we have this one, this should not have any requirement. So we could say with test env, test creation. Yeah, I really like this very much instead of all of those ones. Yeah, they are all effects.provide. Yeah, so creation, this one should be test storage, and this one could be test marked process, test marked process, and these test acknowledged, test acknowledged on process. Okay, and we also need to update the checks that we do in the test because they should read from the correct tables. This one test marked process, for example, should read from test marked process. Okay. And then we have test storage and test creation. Okay. Okay, this one expect table name test creation to be equal to message HTTK. Yeah, that's right. Because that's one. Okay, let's try everything again. Yes. Yes, everything works. And now the tests are definitely faster than before. I would also like to update this one with test env. That what provides just those one, yeah. And do something like this one and say in the test env table name as a string. Okay, and say dot provide table name. Here we go. Perfect. So now we can say test creation, and then we could say test store, test store, and then we say test read. Okay, and now everything should be fine. Yes. Let's run everything again. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And ideally, in here, before all, shut down and tear down. Yeah. Before all, okay. And return async, await. Yeah. So we should be. Oh, await. I didn't await for that. I think. Yeah, I sync container dot stop. Yeah, but this one is a promise. So I could say await container dot stop. Yeah. And since it goes here. Now you see why it's easier to use effect. Now we should say that. Okay, and if I run everything, I see the before all, yeah. And then it shuts down perfectly. Perfectly. Okay. Let's see what we updated. Here. Okay, and now we can see fix test running parallel. Okay, so now the test will run much faster. Let's see. Ideally, if we go to our pull request. Okay. Oh, did we break something before? What did we break? Check. Oh, let's see. Let's see if the build succeeds or if it breaks. Maybe we can also quit and say pnpm check and see. Yeah, we have some issues to fix. Oh, the examples, right? Yeah, the examples as well now needs to be updated. Yeah, here, here. Make variable execution to Postgres, and we say event journal. Perfect. And the same goes here. We need to say make. And we need now to provide the table name. Event journal. Okay. Now the examples should be okay. Perfect. So we say that we fixed examples. Okay, today I'm not able to write. Yes. Same changes. And now we should see that this one should compile and be fine. Let's see. Now it's running. CI is running. Okay. So I think that this one, let's go back to our list of issues. Cluster issues. Do not recreate test container for each test. Now we can close this issue. Perfect. Okay. CI is still running. Yeah, but some tests already passed. We need now. Okay, everything has passed. Perfect. Are you passed? Yeah. Everything passed in CCI, so we are fine. And let's see what else we can do. How much time have I left? About 10, 12, 10 to 20 minutes. Okay. Okay. So consider renaming from function effect to from effect. Yeah. Let's say we add from function effect. And that comes from here, recipient behavior. Yeah. And rename this one as from function effect. Yeah, I'll keep from function effect for now because it's actually a function that returns an effect. So I'm actually fine with that for now. Yeah. Let's see something else. We need to find a better naming for recipient type. Is version of sign refactor interface all. The one I want. This one is already closed, I think. Mixer already message itself. Yeah, this was is already closed. Okay. And then what we have left? Not a lot. Okay. So I think that we can now merge. We could ideally as last thing rename this cluster node package to something else, like, for example, cluster RPC right now, because now it's more a cluster RPC than a cluster node. But yeah, I want to do that for now, because we also have this storage file in here right now. And yeah, I would like to have separate cluster platform package. Yeah. And that cluster platform package can perform this. Yeah. But that is out of scope for today. I almost finished my time. So I think that I will go and start prepare dinner. So thank you everyone who joined today. Sorry for this one being a quick one, but yeah, we fixed some example. We now made running examples quicker. Now we can actually see the example run. In the past, for example, the example took a lot to run, and the CI was every time failing because of that. So I think that for now I can merge this one and say thank you everyone, and see you next time. Bye bye. Thank you everyone again.